The Contact Center Agent Client, also known as CCAC, is a tool designed for the contact center agents. It is a web-based application, and this is the application agents use to make themselves available for the contact center calls and web chats. They can enable each individual channel. They can go make themselves available already, as well as busy or do not disturb, and set the appropriate reason codes. While on a phone call, after that phone call, a web chat, the agent can tag account codes, also known as disposition codes. Now, the first thing to do is create a personalized display for the agent, so that way they can have visibility into the other team members, the queues, and web chats. These personalized displays are wallboards built by the supervisors and then shared with the agents. Let's go ahead and take a look. From your web administration, go ahead and go to your real-time wallboards. Now you can share an existing pre-built wallboard or go ahead and create a new one that's designed specifically for the agents. And you can have different wallboards or displays for different sets of agents. Agents can also have multiple displays. So maybe I wanted to share this CC agent wallboard with a particular skill or team. I would just select the appropriate skill, and all of the agents that are part of that skill will now have access to this wallboard inside the Contact Center Agent Client. If you want multiple wallboards, go ahead and share those. Next, the agents are going to log into the Contact Center Agent Client, which is a slightly different URL that ends in CCAC or CC Agent. From the drop-down list, they'll just select their username and their phone number, which is pulled from the UC or UCaaS system. Their password by default is their extension number, but they can change that once they've logged in. And here you'll have the display of the different wallboards that were shared with the agents. On the right or the left-hand side, the agent can toggle between their different wallboards. Now, up in the top left-hand corner is where the agents can make themselves available for calls, log in and out of their channels, log in and out of their skills. At the very top is their menu, which includes viewing the different wallboards, a history, changing the language of the Contact Center Agent Client, help menu option, as well as the option to change password and log out. Let's go ahead and make this agent available. We're going to go off of Do Not Disturb, putting ourselves into a ready state, and that is going to make ourselves or this agent available for web chats and phone calls, as long as the phone is logged in. The Contact Center Agent Client syncs with the agent's phone from the UCaaS system. So that could be a soft phone, that could be a cell phone app, that could be a physical SIP phone. It is pulling the state of that phone to ensure that they're available to take those calls. Now what that means is the agent is going to use a single device for all types of calls, meaning they're going to use the same device for contact center calls, inbound calls direct to their extension, outbound calls, as well as internal calls. And the Contact Center Agent Client is the tool they use to make themselves available or unavailable for those contact center calls. Now, one and the most common way to make yourself unavailable is to go onto a Do Not Disturb state. And here the agent can select the appropriate Do Not Disturb reason code so they can tell their supervisor why they're going on Do Not Disturb. Because the supervisor can see that in the supervisor view, the real-time wallboards, as well as run historical reports on that information. Now, if you shared the wallboard with that information to the agents, they too can also see that within their display, allowing them to see when is a good time to go on break. Are other agents on break or on Do Not Disturb, and why? Now, the agent can also log in and out of their respective skills. They can log out of all skills, log in to just select skills, or again, log in and out of all skills. Agents can also make themselves available for just phone calls or just web chats by enabling and disabling their different channels based off what functions they're supposed to do during that time. Now, if an agent receives a contact center call, it's going to pop inside the Contact Center Agent Client with the caller information. If it's a direct call, it will just ring their UCaaS device. So let's go ahead and place a contact center call. Here you can see it presents those call details right to the agent so they can see the customer's phone number, where they're calling from, what skill group they called in on, and what number they dialed. Now they're going to answer the call on their UCaaS device. That could be their soft phone, that could be the cell phone app, or it could be a physical SIP phone. Inside the contact center agent client on the right-hand side, you have your customer details. Now, while on the phone or during their after-call work timer, agent can tag appropriate notes about this call or account codes. Dispositioning, what was the purpose of this call? For instance, this was a technical skill call. Maybe the agent opened up a ticket. Again, these account codes are assigned to them by the supervisor, and they can enter just one account code. They can enter sub-account codes. They can also enter free-form account codes. Now, if the supervisor granted them access, they can also request more time. Keeping in mind, other agents and supervisors will be able to see that ACW time if that was shared with them. The agent can also speed up their ACW time and make themselves available for other calls. Now, you also get to determine what do you do with agents if they miss a call. You can have the system auto log them out or put them into a missed call work timer, and agents will be able to see that on the system, on their display. Okay, so I'll go ahead and purposely miss this call. Maybe I'm an agent that got up, walked away from my desk. But what's important is you'll notice the caller still hears the queue music. They still hear the queue messages, so they don't know that it's presenting to the agents. The customer experience doesn't change as it presents from customer to customer. They don't know if an agent just got auto logged out like you're seeing there. Okay. Now you can also present that caller with the option to schedule a queue callback. Again, those queue messages, you get to customize that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and schedule a queue callback.
Thank you. Your queue callback has been confirmed. Goodbye.
Now, agents, when they return to their screen, they'll see that they got auto logged out due to a missed call. And back here on the wallboard, you can see that timed out, so other agents can see that an agent timed that out. And again, if you don't want to share that information, you can control what information is shared to the other agents. But importantly, I can see there's a call in queue up here. So I'm going to go ahead and re-enable my skills. And based off the strategy, that'll call the customer back, or in this case, it reserved me for a queue callback. And now it's calling the customer back. The customer will answer, determine if this is a good time to receive that queue callback, and then they'll bridge the two together, still allowing the screen pop feature functionality to the agent. And again, they're just going to answer it with whatever UCaaS device they're using for all their other calls. Now, the system will recognize when they make those other calls, and it will make themselves systematically unavailable for a contact center call. For instance, I'm currently available, but if I were to make an outbound call using my phone, you'll see that the system instantly recognizes that and will say the phone is not available for those contact center calls. There you can see I'm making an outbound call, and it instantly changed my status to phone not available and disabled my voice channel because my phone is no longer available to receive those contact center calls. If I were to hang up on that outbound call, it's going to see that and make myself available for those inbound contact center calls. This same contact center agent client is used for web chats. And agents can support both phone calls and web chats at the same time. You can also determine how many chats can the agent handle, and they will show up over here in the active media. So let me go ahead and send a web chat through. Go ahead and put in my name and email address. I'm not a robot. Submit, and it presents just like a phone call. They can see the customer details, what skill it came in on, accept, and you can have the system auto respond if that's something you can configure, or maybe I want to just say hello. That will chime in the agent's ear every time a chat is sent to and from the agent or the customer side. So I'll go ahead and say hello from the customer side, and you can see there when the agent's typing. You can also select from canned responses if those were shared with you or assigned on the agent level. You can request a screenshot or transfer this chat over to an available agent or different skill. Maybe we want to transfer this over to the sales skill. Now I'm the only agent available, so that's why it chimed in on the agent. Okay, now again, you can determine if agents are skilled to handle phone calls and web chats at the same time. So if a phone call were to come in, you can see my channels are still available. That's going to present to the agent. And if they were to accept it, they could accept it or they could miss that. It's really up to the agent. And when the agent or the customer ends the chat, the agent can review that chat or historical web chat in their history. It will store their last 200 phone calls and web chats combined. So 200 either voice and web chats, not 200 of each. If you need more historical views, then you would use the administrative HTML interface to go access those older historical web chats. If I needed to go back and update a call with the appropriate node or account code, you can do that as an agent. And the customer can also save that web chat. Now, inside the contact center agent client, you can have that also screen pop to a web-based CRM application. We're not going to review that in this training as it's generally different for each of the different CRMs. But that is a high-level overview of how the contact center agent client works.